Welcome back to ZBCN Today, the channel where we cut through the noise and focus on what actually matters. Zbeck's development strategy continues to center on bridging crypto-native financial systems with real-world economic activity. The protocol is designed to move beyond purely on-chain interactions and into everyday spending environments without sacrificing security, efficiency, or structural integrity. Built on cryptic tech application rails, Zebeck's private card suite extends its real-time finance engine into real-world commerce, allowing crypto-native payment flows to function seamlessly in practical off-chain contexts. This approach reinforces Zebeck's long-term objective to construct durable, future-proof financial infrastructure capable of operating across both decentralized and traditional economic systems. A defining feature of Zebeck's architecture is its comprehensive treatment of security and system design. Time sensitivity, data protection, and operational reliability are treated as foundational requirements rather than optional enhancements. Every component of the ecosystem is addressed deliberately, ensuring that no layer is left exposed or underdeveloped. Zebeck's design philosophy reflects the understanding that financial infrastructure cannot afford partial solutions. Each sector it touches must operate cohesively and securely for the system to function at scale. This focus is clearly reflected in the Ghostware X Zebec USD integration. Funding for Zebec on Solana now passes through the Ghostware OS privacy layer, introducing an additional layer of protection and refinement. By integrating wallet scanning, approval revocation, and metadata minimization, this system materially improves transaction safety, cleanliness, and privacy. As privacy and operational integrity increasingly emerge as core requirements for broader crypto adoption, this integration strengthens Zebec flow while maintaining transaction efficiency. Importantly, these protections are implemented without compromising usability, reinforcing Zebeck's emphasis on infrastructure that is both secure and practical. Everything you hear on ZBCN Today is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing in this video should be considered financial advice, investment advice, or a recommendation to buy or sell any asset. Alongside infrastructure development, Zebec continues to build steady market visibility. While some recent activity reflects reposted updates rather than new announcements, incremental exposure remains relevant. Sustained visibility supports long-term awareness and reinforces Zebeck's presence within broader market discussions. Traction does not always arrive through headline-grabbing releases. Consistent engagement and reaffirmation of progress play a meaningful role in long-term positioning. Historical context from 2024 further underscores why Zebeck's positioning remains structurally important. As highlighted by 314 Crypto, DST Global, a fund managing approximately $50 billion in assets and known for early-stage investments in some of the world's most influential technology companies, has made only one crypto investment. That investment was Zebec. This distinction places Zebec within a highly selective group of companies that have met DST's investment criteria, which historically has focused on long-term scalability, infrastructure relevance, and global reach rather than short-term trends. DST Global's broader portfolio includes companies such as Alibaba, Stripe, Twitter, Spotify, Airbnb, Nubank, Robinhood, and Coinbase. These are not speculative ventures, but foundational platforms that define entire sectors of the modern digital economy. Zebeck's inclusion within this ecosystem is significant because it aligns the protocol with a lineage of internet-scale businesses that were identified early for their structural importance rather than immediate monetization. This association reinforces Zebeck's positioning as an infrastructure-first project rather than a short-term market narrative. The relevance of this information persists despite originating in 2024. Many participants in the current market cycle were not actively tracking Zebec during that period, and as a result, these details were either overlooked or not fully contextualized. Re-examining this historical backdrop provides clarity on why Zebec's development trajectory is structured the way it is, and why institutional alignment remains a critical part of its long-term thesis. It is also reasonable to acknowledge that additional developments from 2024 and early 2025 may not yet be fully reflected in prevailing market narratives. As broader attention cycles shift and historical context is reevaluated, previously underappreciated developments can regain relevance. This is a common pattern in markets where infrastructure progress often precedes price recognition. From a macro perspective, broader market conditions also remain influential. Bitcoin has recently demonstrated strength, moving back toward the mid-$90,000 range after advancing several $1,000s intraday. While short-term fluctuations remain, Bitcoin's positioning near these levels provides important context for overall market liquidity and risk appetite. Macro conditions inevitably influence capital flows into mid-cap and infrastructure-focused projects such as Zbeck. Within this environment, Zebec Network's current market positioning offers a clear reference point. The project is ranked 141 among approximately 8,950 active cryptocurrencies, with a market capitalization of roughly $280 million and daily trading volume near $12.27 million. By objective standards, this volume remains relatively low. This observation is not a critique, but a factual assessment of liquidity conditions at the present time. Historical market behavior illustrates how quickly this dynamic can change. Over the past year, multiple assets have transitioned from modest trading volumes into periods where daily volume expanded into the hundreds of millions. Coins such as Tashi and Turbo experienced rapid volume growth within relatively short time frames. Larger assets, including ICP, demonstrated even more dramatic liquidity surges, with daily volume moving from hundreds of millions into the billions during periods of heightened market activity. The relevance of these examples lies in liquidity mechanics rather than asset classification. When volume increases substantially, price responsiveness changes materially. Assets with previously low liquidity require significantly less incremental capital to achieve large percentage moves once sustained volume enters the market. This is a structural reality of market dynamics rather than a speculative assumption. ICP's historical volume expansions, where daily trading activity reached levels such as $1.4 billion, $1.1 billion, and $1.7 billion, provide clear illustrations of how liquidity influx alters market behavior. Similar patterns were observed with Turbo, where volume shifted from relatively muted levels into repeated instances of several $100 million per day. In each case, the resulting price behavior followed the expansion in liquidity rather than preceding it. These references are not presented as direct equivalencies, but as demonstrations of how volume functions as a primary driver of repricing. In Zebeck's case, the current low volume establishes a clear baseline. As liquidity conditions evolve, whether through broader market cycles, increased adoption, or sustained institutional participation, the sensitivity of price to incremental capital naturally increases. As real-world usage continues to develop and institutional alignment deepens, volume becomes the critical variable to monitor. When liquidity begins to scale meaningfully, market structure changes rapidly. Under those conditions, price discovery accelerates not because of narrative shifts, but because of mechanical liquidity dynamics. Zebeck's infrastructure-focused development, combined with its current market positioning, places it in a category where increased liquidity could materially reshape its market profile over time. If you're getting value from this kind of focused, fundamentals-driven Zbeck content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to ZBCN Today, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. It directly supports the channel and helps this research-driven community grow. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments. I read them all. Now, let's continue with the real analysis.